When the storm came about, we were on vacation in Orlando. We noticed on the news how bad North Carolina was getting hit before the hurricane ever made it.
We just watched the weather. We kind of formed a team, still thinking that the mountains was going to kind of break it up, but it just kept raining. And then all of a sudden things started going really bad.
And it was kind of strange. It was like coming into a ghost town. You know, you seen rescue and police and stuff like that, but just not anybody else. It was pretty surreal. No food, no power, no water, and then you just have to regroup and figure out what you got to do. The gas company reached out to us, and they had a lot of gas lines blowing that had been ruptured and broke. The smallest thing can set off a massive explosion. So we contacted the SEC. We were told whatever it takes. So we worked 7 days a week. David McBride and Drake Leonard, they gathered up all the gas and diesel they could carry, generators, and in that aspect, SEC really stepped up in my eyes.
I've always been a person that enjoys helping and stepping in, and plus the fact that SEC, we're a huge family. We join as a family and step up and take care of our own.
So the SEC Transmission Group has a large cook trailer that we take to projects, to do celebrations, to do charity. After working in those locations for several weeks, and I knew that we can be impactful by just bringing them a warm cooked meal, and it was just a phone call, and it was immediate response of absolutely, we'll be there. We provided over 300 meals to that small community, and those folks were very grateful. It was just a morale booster that we can provide to these folks and just bring a smile on their face.
I think it was that Friday morning, our customer called around 7 o'clock and said, hey, we need emergency crews. ASAP, we got a lot of damages. Should have been a 3-hour ride, but it took us around 8 hours to get there for all the damage. It's heartbreaking, really, to see everybody lose what they worked for all their lives. Once we got into Valdosta, we started getting addresses to go to these houses, put this gas main back together, cap the gas off, try to get some of these gas services put back to the houses.
We were just told to load up, get ready to head to Augusta. Once I got further into Augusta, it really set in that it was pretty bad. I mean, cars abandoned, stuck in the road, power lines everywhere. So it got pretty ugly, and it's nothing I've ever seen before. Once I made it in, it was time to work. People needed the road cleared. I was the only one with a chainsaw. I come down a little road, kind of like this one right here, and I was coming up on this tree I seen blocking the road, and as I stopped and got out, I ended up in front of this little house, kind of like this little brick house right here. I stopped and was getting ready to work when I heard someone hollering, asking for help. And it was this older lady, the homeowner, and then she introduced me to the older gentleman who was on the breathing machine. It wasn't working due to no power, and the home nurse was having to perform rescue breathing. So we decided to step in and hook it up to our main crew truck with a generator. After we made sure the machine was running, the home nurse said everything was fine. We then went back outside. The fire department, EMTs had to come through, so we started clearing the roads, cutting down the massive trees, and we all got together and discussed it and decided to just leave the vehicle overnight. I mean, it was close to midnight by the time we came back around to check the gas one more time, and that's when the fire truck was there and they were moving the gentleman out of the house about that time we got back. I was pretty grateful, that we were able to help. We all have different jobs, but when it's time to come together, we all work together. It's one big family.
About, I'd say 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I just started hearing wind in the windows and limbs hitting the house. So at that point, I woke my son up and told him we might have to get out of there. Had a huge oak tree. It fell across the front of the house. The only vehicle that was left drivable was the company truck. As we were backing out the driveway, you could hear this loud train noise. It sounded like a locomotive, and all of a sudden the house just disappeared, just trees everywhere. It was incredible. We started up the road and we couldn't go either way. There were literally trees falling all around us. We got where two roads teed together, basically got in the middle of the intersection and let the seats back on the truck. And I told my son, you know, I said, this is time to pray, you know. And I mean, the wind was so strong, it was literally sliding that diesel truck on the roadway. So the next day, my son told me, so let's go back and check out the house. And I had to literally crawl down through the trees. I just remember him asking me, you know, how's the house? And I said, son, we don't have a house anymore. So I had heard that SEC was putting together a disaster relief fund. I got a call from Kyle Hornsby, and he wanted to know what he could do to help. About 30 minutes later, I got a call from one of our transmission managers, Stan Johnson. He said, you have a 5-man crew at your house in a couple days. These guys were ex-loggers. I mean, they were jam up. When it was all said and done, I had a 200-foot debris pile that was 2 stories high. So we ended up having to tear it down and completely start over. Since then, I think we've been moved in about 2 months now. It was a very humbling experience. SEC has been very good to me. And to all the people that were involved, I would just sincerely say thank you. I'm very grateful. Not all angels wear wings. Some of them wear SEC vests.